Hello everyone, we're going to begin reading Act 3 today. Before we do that, I'd like to review the end of Act 2 as a lot happens. Mama is gone at this point, and the rest of the younger family is in the apartment packing and excited to move. Knock on the door. Mr. Linder, a man who representing Clybourne Park, the neighborhood the family will be moving to, is at the door. He announces himself and says that he's here from the neighborhood as part of a welcoming committee, someone who helps the neighborhood get organized and deal with any problems they may have. He's invited to sit at the table. Mr. Linder goes on to explain that the people of Clybourne Park are extremely scared and nervous to have the younger family move into their neighborhood. At this point in history, many Black families are leaving the city and moving into the suburbs and owning homes. And what Clybourne Park is scared of is that with the youngers moving into their neighborhood, there is going to be violence. That the youngers are going to bring violence because that's what they're being told by other white neighborhoods. That when Black families are moving in, they're bringing violence and crime with them. Now we know this isn't true, but it's a stereotype that many white people in the 50s bought into. And in fact, it's that stereotype that actually created a lot of the conflict in neighborhoods that were desegregated. So Mr. Linder proposes to them that the people of Clybourne Park would like to buy the house back from the youngers. And not just for the price that they bought it, but for more money than what the youngers are planning to pay for it. And Walter says no, that you need to leave this house right now. And Mr. Younger does. After Mr. Younger leaves, Bobo comes over. Now, Bobo is one of the characters that is investing in the liquor store with Walter and Willie. Bobo comes over and has to tell Walter that Willie took all of their money and ran. Walter is devastated. Bobo is devastated. For both men, that was all the money they had in the world, their life savings. And for Walter, it was all of Mama's money. He did not go to the bank and deposit the additional funds like Mama had asked. He took all of that check and gave it to Willie, who then stole the money and ran. Bobo says he's sorry and leaves. When Mama comes home, Walter has to explain to Mama what has happened. And now the family has to make the choice. Do we continue to move and buy this house? Do we take Mr. Linder's offer for the extra money? Do we stay in this apartment? So we're going to begin reading Act 3. This starts on page 131 if you're using the electronic book. So an hour later, at curtain there is a sullen light of gloom in the living room, gray light, not unlike that which began the first scene. In the living room, Benita sits at the table. Walter is laying on the bed in his room, still surrounded by all the almost ominous packing crates. We feel that this is a mood struck perhaps an hour before, and it lingers now, full of the empty sound of profound disappointment. We see on a line from her brother's bedroom the sameness of their attitudes. The bell rings. Benita rises. It is Assegai, smiling broadly, striding into the room with energy and happy expectation and conversation. Assegai says, I came over. I had some free time. I thought I might help with the packing. I like the look of packing crates, a household and preparation for a journey. It depresses some people, but for me, it's another feeling, something full of the flow of life. Do you understand? Movement, progress. It makes me think of Africa. Benita, Africa? What kind of mood is this? Have I told you how deeply you move me? He gave away the money, Assegai. Who gave away that money? Benita says, the insurance money. My brother gave it away. Gave it away? He made an investment with a man even Travis wouldn't have trusted with his most worn-out marbles. And it's gone? Gone. I am very sorry. And you now? Me? Me? Me, I am nothing. Me. When I was very small, we used to take our sleds out in the wintertime, and the only hills we had were the ice-covered stone steps of some houses down the street. And we used to fill them in with snow and make them smooth and slide down them all day. It was very dangerous, you know, far too steep. And sure enough, one day a kid named Rufus came down too fast and hit the sidewalk, and we saw his face just split open right there in front of us. And I remember standing there. Sorry, I lost my place. And I remember standing there looking at his bloody open face, thinking that was the end of Rufus. But the ambulance came and they took him to the hospital and they fixed the broken bones and they sewed it all up. And the next time I saw Rufus, he just had a little line down the middle of his face. I never got over that. Now this passage reveals a few things. One, this is part of the reason Benita wishes to become a doctor. Two, it also tells us about the difference between living in a house with a yard and being able to play outside versus stacking stone steps in the city to slide down and play on in the wintertime. It might be small to some, but it's actually a very large idea here that this house is going to provide more than just a place to sleep for this family. It's really going to be a step towards a middle-class lifestyle. Asagai, what? Benita, that was what one person could do for another. Fix him up, sew up the problem, make him all right again. That was the most marvelous thing in the world. I wanted to do that. I always thought it was the one concrete thing in the world that a human being could do. Fix up the sick, you know, and make them whole again. This was truly being God. You wanted to be God? No, I wanted to cure. It used to be so important to me. I wanted to cure. It used to matter. I used to care. I mean about people and how their bodies hurt. And you stopped caring. Yes, I think so. Why? Because it doesn't seem deep enough, close enough to what ails mankind. It was a child's way of seeing things, or an idealist. All right, now let's stop. I want you to think for a moment. What does she mean when she says, it doesn't seem deep enough, close enough to what ails mankind? What she's getting at here is not the fact that healing is physical. Yes, your body needs to physically heal when it gets hurt, like the boys who was sliding down the steps and cracked his face open. But what she's referring here, something is deeper, something in our psyches, something about the way we feel emotions and feel emotions towards others. Healing the physical body is easy, she's saying. Healing the mind and the hatred others have for one another is not. And she just doesn't think that that will ever happen, that there will ever be a healing between black and white people. Asagai. Children see things very well sometimes. An idealist even better. I know that's what you think because you are still where I left off. You, with all your talk and dreams about Africa, you still think you can patch up the world, cure the great sore of colonialism with the Penicillin of independence. So, to be an idealist is to have lofty ideas and believe that they can come true. And in this case, Asagai believes that one day racism and assimilation will be eradicated. They will be gone, and we will no longer feel this way towards our brothers and sisters of different colors. Colonialism is the idea of a group of people coming into a nation or country and essentially taking it over. Right? So in this case, when the British, if we go back to the War of Independence with the British, they came in and tried to colonize America. And if they would have succeeded, we would still be part of the Kingdom of Britain. This has happened all over the world. And it's happened predominantly in Africa or third world countries such as India, where nations such as Britain and France and the Dutch have come in and colonized other countries. And then the people who were originally there were made to be slaves. Okay? So the great sore of colonialism. Because of these things that happened in the past, we are still suffering the consequences. Okay? Asagai, yes. So he's saying, yes, I believe we can cure this. Benita, independence and then what? What about all the crooks and thieves and just plain idiots who will come into power and steal and plunder the same as before? Only now they will be black and do it in the name of the new independence? What about them? That will be the problem for another time. First, we must get there. And where does it end? End? Who even spoke of an end? To life? To living? An end to misery, to stupidity. Don't you see there isn't any real progress, Asagai? There is only one large circle that we march in, round and around, each of us with our own little picture in front of us, our own little mirage that we think is the future. So, Benita right now is feeling defeated. She's feeling like it is worthless to attempt to be any better or attain more than what she has currently. That's in direct conflict with the idea of the American dream, right? The dream of America is that the station you are born into, you do not have to remain in for the rest of your life. But right now, she's really feeling like she cannot change her situation, that she will always share a bedroom with Mama. She will always live in a small apartment. And she's feeling that way because the hope of having a new life, of starting anew, of going to school, of getting a house in Claiborne Park is being ripped from her right now. Mama's money, insurance money, could have provided that and given the younger family the opportunity to pursue their dreams. I want you to keep reading from this point on and finish Act 3. Don't forget you have some comprehension questions and other activities to be doing as you read. If you have any questions, please reach out to Miss Simmons, me, or Miss Spies. Thank you.